Not too bad if you ask me. The gearbox is nice, but I keep on sliding into neutral. Probably this is my lack of skill. But, you know, I just got used to riding Kawasaki Z400, and this bike is indulging me so badly. You have to do something really wrong in order to slip on neutral while you're riding. Alright, so this bike is pulling. That's what I can say right away. It has only 93 horsepower, but it feels really fast, taking that this is a relatively heavy bike, 235 kilograms. This bike is pretty rapid. I didn't find any information. I didn't find any records about the acceleration of the bike, but it does feel pretty rapid. I don't know. We need to try it out later.
A few moments later.
I feel like if a spiritual animal is not an overweight snail, you can make it in 4 seconds flat.
Ooh, I have to take a deep breath because it's pretty scary. And not the speed, not the acceleration, not the weight, but everything together. This bike feels as if it's going to make your daddy respect you again. Oh, right. The only problem about it is that every time I hit the bump, I feel some sort of a weird sensation. It doesn't feel very stable once I hit the bump on the road. And it just feels rigid. The suspension feels a bit rigid, and it feels like I lose control over the bike a little bit once I hit the bump. I didn't have that feeling before riding other bikes. If you're cruiser rider, guys, let me know whether it's always like this or not, but I do like riding this bike. There's something about this bike that makes me like it. Probably the weight and the size and the power and the look. It does make me feel good about myself. I feel respected. I feel like people around respect me more when I'm riding this bike. Look at me. I am on a big ass bike, which is very loud. The brakes are really good as well. This bike is heavy and it has Brembo everywhere. Front wheel has double disc, which is 320 millimeters, and brakes feel really good. Yeah, just now I tried to stop rapidly and brakes are legit. They're so good. They are stopping that heavy machine in no time. All right, let's squeeze through the traffic. Let's see how it goes. All right. This bike is big, but you still can squeeze through some pretty wide gaps. Again, this is not a bike for a traffic, but it's really nice to see. All right, I'm getting used to those specs. It feels as if I have mounted some kind of crazy monster, and this monster is listening to what I say, is following my commands. Great feeling. And again, I do like the brakes of the bike. Yeah, there are some people. Oops, there was an accident. Did you see that motorcycle? Yep, you have to be careful, guys, all the time. The design is unique. I feel like most people, they would be really satisfied with this bike. Performance-wise, it's really nice and fun. This bike is featuring top-notch items, Brembo brakes, kove suspension. What else do you need, guys? And it comes cheap. The price of the bike is less than $7,000. Think about that. Yeah, probably in Europe it will be twice the money that we pay here in China, unfortunately. Tell me, by the way, is this bike available in the place where you're watching me? And in general, tell me what you think about it, because I can see that people are watching, everybody is very curious about it, so much so that I was the person who was curious about this bike. So yeah, I found a loophole to rent the bike for a day, and right now I'm enjoying. Again, this is not your daily bike, but if you are collecting different bikes, this bike is a really nice item in your collection for sure. If I were to be living in China with no problems, I would definitely go with this bike. I would buy it for sure, just like to ride once, twice a week for recreational purposes. If I know that there is a road with no traffic, this bike is so much fun. If I know that there is a road with no bumps on asphalt, I would definitely go with this bike. Yeah, you'll never be as maneuverable as that guy. But you know what you're paying for. You're paying for a beast, which you have to conquer every time you swing your leg over it. Just now there were a few small tiny bumps, but I felt them. I felt them all. Yeah, I wish the suspension would be a bit softer, to be honest. Hello everybody! So today we are talking about this beast of a bike. This is Benda LFC700 and this is Muscle Cruiser. I would go one step further and I would say that this is a Neo Muscle Cruiser. As you can see, the size of this bike is just incredible. This bike is even bigger than Ducati Diavel, ex-Diavel. So design-wise, bike has no rivals. This is a very unique bike, super muscular. It looks as if it was eating steroids for breakfast. This is the most muscular bike that you can come across. But the most remarkable part of this bike is this huge, enormous rear tire. It's 310 millimeters wide. From this angle, when I look at this bike, it just looks ridiculous. Bike is very low, the wheelbase is very long, and overall the bike gives me a feel of a bad bike, as if Batman's supposed to be riding this bike. As you can see, today I'm wearing the Batman shirt, so yeah, I feel like me and the bike were matched. Let's talk about some specifications. Over here, bike has 4-cylinder inline liquid-cooled engine, which makes 93 horsepower and 63 newton meters of torque. This bike is pretty torquey. It lives up to my expectations. Once you hit the straight line, once you crack the throttle open, this Benda LFC700 starts pulling very, very hard. But one thing to mention, my dear dudes, once you start pulling hard, once you start going fast, you need to pay attention to your safety. So what is in charge of our safety? Of course, brakes are. Benda LFC700 has double-sided 320mm disc, which comes from Brembo. Once I start performing emergency braking, bike stops as if it's a lighter naked bike. Just great performance. I cannot say enough good things about it. Benda LFC700 is featuring KYB upside down front fork. Looks pretty dope, a very thick one, and it has KYB full adjustable rear shock. So it's hidden behind, but it's still there.
However,
once you run over a bump on the road, it doesn't feel very good, to be honest. The suspension is very stiff. Even though this is KYB suspension, but again, I wish it could be a bit softer. I wish it could be much softer, to be honest. Taking this is not a sport bike, this is just a cruiser bike, I don't see why they made it so stiff. This machine is just huge. The weight of the bike is 235 kilograms, but it does look bigger than that. To be honest, I didn't expect that bike to be that light. It looks way heavier. If you would ask me before, I would say that this bike is around 300 kilograms, which is just incredible. So they did a good job. The reason why this bike is light is because they have alloy aluminum frame, which is a very lightweight frame. Good job. If you want to start the bike, the ignition is over here on the side of the bike. But if you want to lock your bike, you have to put the key right behind the front fork. Over here, you spin once and the bike is locked. Pretty cool if you ask me. 700 LFC has a nice LED front headlight. This round one is not a headlight, so this is the part of the design, like Orca. You know, Orca has those white spots. Everybody thinks that those are eyes, but this is just a part of the design. And the taillight looks very elegant. This is a very thin line, looks dope. One controversial thing for me is the exhaust pipe. If you like it, please let me know because I'm not a big fan of those. Speaking about ergonomics, this bike is very low. The seat height is only 695 millimeters. Let me swing my leg over the bike. Alright. Now, when I'm sitting on the bike, I can tell that it feels very nice. Benda LFC700 is featuring forward foot pegs, so once you're riding you look like this. And this is a very comfortable position for a long ride. But I need to mention, if you have some problems with your lower back, probably this bike would not be the most optimal solution for you. From rider's perspective, I do see these really nice handlebars. They do look expensive, they do look high quality. Over here we have some buttons so you can regulate different things, you can change language and other things. I don't think that it's really important. This bike doesn't have any power modes, it doesn't have traction control, but it has a cruiser control. One thing to say about Benda LFC700 is that it has this enormous, huge and massive gas tank. It's a very big one, it looks so good. Every time I ride, I feel as if something huge is in front of me. And it has 20 liters capacity, so it's a pretty handy thing. Once you get it up 100%, you can ride for a long time. And over here we can see that 5 inches dash. I do like it a lot. I don't think that it's too big. I do like that the shape of it is a rectangular shape. I don't like those round dashes that previous Bendas have, so I do like the new design. And it's pretty applicable for a city as well. Talking about side mirrors, I do like them a lot. I can see everything. But there is one bad thing. So once I ride for a long time, I do notice that this and that side mirrors, they start getting loose. And I found out that the reason behind those mirrors being loose is that the bike has some vibrations. And the vibration is just loosening up those bolts here. So it's not a very good thing, to be honest, because sometimes I'm riding, I am relaxed, and I look at the mirror and I can see nothing but the sky. So it might be pretty dangerous, and I keep on fixing the thing, but it's keep on getting worse. Oh. That was good, but that bump felt so bad. I jumped off the bike 5 to 10 inches, I'm not even kidding. And you see the mirror? You see the mirror? The mirror is lost. And I didn't see that Mercedes, which was pretty dangerous, so you have to readjust the mirror on the way. That might be pretty unsafe. This time I got lucky. Alright. This is exactly what I'm saying. This is the minor problem. Some of you may say, oh, you know what, it's just negligible. Why do you even say that? Just fix it. But this is the way it comes from the factory. What would you say, guys? One tiny downside of the engine is that this is a big ass engine. And once you ride fast, it gets really hot. Not as hot as some Ducatis might get, but again, over here, as you can see, my ankle is right next to that thing, right next to the engine, and the engine is roasting my ankles as if it's a turkey. I'm not a big fan of being roasted, but actually I feel like if I would be wearing proper gear, this would not be a problem. Let's say a few words about a gearbox. The gearbox on this bike is really good. It has 6 gears, of course, and it doesn't have quick shifter up and down, but I don't feel like it's something important. This machine has a slippery clutch, and every time I change gears, I feel really good. So the gearbox is very smooth. The only thing I would mention is that once I start riding fast, I do slide into neutral from time to time, but it might be my problem, not the bike's problem. Alright guys, so this was my opinion, this was my humble opinion, this was my humble review of this bike. I do like it a lot. I am even considering buying one of those because the feeling that bike gives me is just incredible. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and new videos are coming soon. See you everybody, goodbye.